so when we're teaching kids to trust God in this uncertain time when we are not certain and we don't have the answers, let's open up to our kids about that. Let them see that, because they're going to be those people when they grow up who are okay if they don't know everything. And they'll feel secure in that, and they'll keep their faith in that. They won't need a yes or no, black and white, in order to have faith in God. They're going to know faith can come even in uncertainty. Hey guys, welcome back to the Dwelling Logs podcast. I am Bonnie. I am a Jesus lover, farmer's wife, and second generation homeschooling mom. I was homeschooled right from kindergarten all the way to grade 12. I have 3 kids, and I started Dwelling Logs to share things from my life and my heart that will encourage and help other moms facilitate the foundational building blocks of our homes, our kids, our parenting, and our homeschools. And so today I thought, I was just thinking about what I was going to talk about in my podcast today. And I had a few really good different ideas, but then just last minute, I all of a sudden was just really struck with this idea of kids and social distancing and the parenting and the thought that goes into that right now. So I thought that was super just relevant and something that I am thinking about and working through. And so I want to talk about kids and social distancing and sort of how I navigate that with my kids and kind of where I come from. Something that, if you don't know, we have gone through social distancing with our kids and germ precautions long before COVID with our family, with one child who's fragile. So we have experience with this for the last just about 5 years. In one more month, it'll be 5 years. So I want to talk about kids and social distancing and what that means to us and kind of how we navigate that. One thing that's always really difficult is when you want to get together with friends and you make a play date and your kids are so excited they're going to see their friends, and then all of a sudden something comes up and you have to cancel. Oh, it's so hard. It's so hard for you because you have to be the one to disappoint someone and make the phone call. It's hard because maybe you were looking forward to seeing your mom friend, getting out of the household. And also it's really hard for your kids because your kids have to deal with disappointment and you have to help them through that. And so I think that is what's going to inspire today's episode, is how do we help our kids in our own struggles? How do we help our kids through these struggles? Okay, so I want to approach this from the angle of love languages. And yeah, I got like the 5 love language list going on, and I think it's good. There's probably things that we can add to it or take away, but I really think that the 5 love languages are pretty darn accurate. So they are physical touch, words of affirmation, acts of service, quality time, and gifts. Those are the 5 kind of love language categories, if you've heard of the 5 love languages, that really do cover a very broad umbrella of how we can give and receive love with each other as people. And so I'm thinking about these love languages and I'm thinking about my kids and how this applies. And the first one on my list that I'm talking about is physical touch. And that is something that is missing. Okay, they're not getting physical touch from grandparents or anyone outside of the home, friends and things like that. And that is a big one. There are so many people that have physical touch as their main love language or their secondary love language, or even if physical touch isn't one of your main things, culturally, it is how we show affection and love to each other. We shake a hand, a high five, a hug. Oh, a hug. You guys, are we not lacking on hugs? And so that is something that is just gone right now. It's just missing. And so the only thing really that we can do at this point in time in June of 2020 is we can actually try to increase that physical touch in our home. We are allowed to touch each other in our home. So extra hugs for your kids. They're not getting grandparent hugs or hugs from their friends at the playground or when you see aunts and uncles and things like that. So increase your hugs at home. Even if it's not like an important moment. Maybe your kid is like spreading peanut butter on their sandwich. You can like go over and give them a squeeze, having cuddle time in the morning. Come sit with me. Like maybe your kids are too big that cuddles aren't cool, but find a way to express love with physical touch with your kids and be just conscious of it. Be conscious that they aren't getting physical touch from anywhere else right now. You are the person, the people in your home. And I think that wouldn't it actually be so cool if after this all blows over, maybe we'll be like a more huggy family. I like that. I grew up in a very huggy family, so I've kind of stepped away from that a little bit because my husband's family isn't really huggy, but I want more hugs in our house. I think that'd be good. Next one, words of affirmation. So words of affirmation, this is something that we can totally do right now. Words of affirmation, we can do it when we see people. We can do it by messages. We can do it by video chats. We can do it by phone calls. Words of affirmation are so easy to give right now and to receive. And so I think it's really, really a cool opportunity if we can teach our kids more words of affirmation. Are they missing their friend right now? Help them send their friend a video message. If they're young, if they don't have their own phone yet, be like, you know what? Let's make a really nice hi message for your friend and we will send it. I'll send it to their mom so they can watch it or whatever. So words of affirmation is actually something that's super, super doable. Words of affirmation can happen when you're standing out in a yard and you're 6 feet apart. Words of affirmation is totally doable right now, but we also have to be conscious of that. If we're missing people, if we're feeling like our love isn't being given and received, be conscious of words of affirmation. Remember that when you're out somewhere, to use them, if it's not always just in our subconscious to like affirm someone and say something good about someone or say, hey, like, you look great today. You're doing a great job. I loved your post last week, whatever. Words of affirmation. Oh, we just got to be conscious of that. We got to be doing that. It's like, it's totally COVID friendly. Next, acts of service. This is something that I think a lot of us parents are really aware of, that we kind of try to have these projects that we can get our kids to learn how to serve, because it does not come naturally for everyone. I know for some people this is their natural love language, which is really, really cool. This is not my love language at all. Acts of service to me, that's a chore. If I'm giving you an act of service, it's because I think that you will like it and I'm trying to speak your love language. It is not mine. I don't care if you do anything for me. Like I will feel loved by you if you do the other ones. So this does not come naturally to me. So I think this is one I'm actually very conscious of, because it doesn't come naturally to me. I want to tell myself, remember to do acts of service for people who you think will appreciate it, and remember to teach your kids to do acts of service. So those special things that they can do for you, for dad, for grandma, for grandpa, for each other. Hey, your brother was needing this. Do you think you could do that? Would you help him with that? Teaching your kids to collaborate and work together is something that's really, really important. And so right now, what we're missing is there's certain acts of service that we can't do for some people. Some people, it's a gray area. You may think, hey, let's go get groceries for the neighbor. Maybe that's a great thing. Maybe they'll appreciate it. You should probably check with them, because they may not appreciate you touching all the food that's coming into their home right now. So acts of service, it's not like 100% everything is great with that and allowed right now, but we can work around that. You don't have to do the things that you're not sure about. There are other ways to do acts of service that can totally be applicable. But let's not just keep them for ourselves as adults and what can we do for people, but let's teach our kids, what can they do? What kind of act of service can they do right now to show love to someone? And if there are people around you that are doing things for your family, if someone is doing your family a favor or helping you with something, point it out to your kids. Tell your kids, hey, so-and-so just did this for us today. That was really kind of them. Wasn't that loving of them? So I'm going to actually break in right here. Something that really inspired me for this episode was that there's a grandma in our family who, because of the physical distancing right now, was concerned that my kids might not feel loved by her. And that really got me thinking. And I actually had a conversation with my oldest kid and I said, you know what, we really need to know, do you know how much grandma loves you right now? Do you know how much she wants to hug and kiss you right now? And yeah, I know, Mom. And so ever since I had this conversation with grandma, I've been talking to my kids and I've been pointing out ways. Look at that. See, they were loving you right there. Hey, look, they stopped by and they dropped that off. Wasn't that a loving thing to do? And so I think that pointing out times when other people are showing you or your family or your kids love is really important, because that will help your kids recognize love when it's being shown to them. I really think that's key, you guys. Really key. Fourth on my list is quality time. This is mine. This is my love language. It's mine. It's other people's too. But you guys, oh my goodness, you can not do any other love language with me but quality time, and I will just think you're the most awesome friend in the world. So for me, quality time is a really, really big one. Quality time is a tough one right now though, because of COVID. Our family isn't spending time with people. Right now in June, we're in phase 2 where we live. So you are allowed to be 6 feet apart with someone not from your own home. They're encouraging really short interactions, but like we can legally, whatever, if we're following the government guidelines, we can go to grandma's house and we can sit in their yard, 6 feet away on lawn chairs. So that is something that we are starting to be able to do. But at the beginning of this, quality time was really hard. And I find this one tricky too, because if you have small kids, so my kids are almost 7, almost 5, and 1.5. Now, for my almost 7-year-old, I can very easily say, hey, we're going to go to so-and-so's house. You guys can play outside, but try to stay away, about this much, whatever, 6 feet. And he'll be great. He'll be like, okay, we'll do that. The problem is with my 1.5-year-old, I have no language for her. I have no language to tell her about physical distancing. It's not possible. So for me to make a plan to go and see someone or make a play date and say, okay, we'll come and we'll play, but we'll stay 6 feet apart, it's impossible for her. If it's her nap time and she can sleep in the stroller, that's an option. That could work. For my almost 5-year-old, he could understand that, but he's going to be the one that you tell him, oh, watch your distance. And he's going to be like, okay, Mom. And then we're going to be playing for a while and he's going to forget. And they're going to get closer and closer and closer and closer with their friends. And then I'm going to be like, hey, 6 feet. Oh, okay, Mom. And then it's going to happen again and again. And what it's going to be is going to be a whole play date of Mom nagging or maybe even getting upset, someone getting in trouble. And so quality time for me right now, the way we're doing it is being very difficult, because being with people, with our kids, like as far as like physical quality time, being in the presence of each other it's not smooth yet. So once we get to the place where the 6-foot rule isn't there anymore, that'd be kind of nice. But for now, quality time doesn't have to be in person. We live in the 21st century. We have Zoom, we have Skype, there's FaceTime. I got an iPad, so hey, we can FaceTime with people right now. Something that my kids have been doing, we've been setting up a private Minecraft world for them to play with their cousins. They've done that a few times. So our cousins live 3 provinces away. And so it was actually kind of cool because they played Minecraft for over an hour the other day. And I was like, that's so cool. You guys had some really quality time. They laughed, they joked. My kid's on his phone being like, look, it's coming. We need to build this. He's shouting at the phone. He doesn't really get that he can just talk in normal voice, but his cousin is very gracious and they understand and they're fine. They can turn down the volume. Anyway, so quality time can really come in different forms. Quality time can be on the phone. One thing that I do, I phone my mom almost every day. And I feel like we have quality, rich conversation every day, just being on the phone. But it's time. I'm so sorry, but I am that person that's on the phone with you for an hour or 2 hours. I'll go if you gotta go. I'll be like, oh yeah, so-and-so is crying or you gotta go. That's fine. And I'm not offended by that or anything like that. But I can just chat because I just love spending time with people. So the phone and technology is how I am getting filled during this COVID time, because I can't do the face-to-face with my kids by my side. So I think what's really cool, there's been a couple times when Grandma and Grandpa have come and they've put a chair on our deck and we've had coffee out on the deck. A little girl might be napping or something like that. So it seems like you can kind of work around it and still get that quality time. But again, you got to be conscious of it. Conscious that quality time is someone's love language, and it's a way that we can show love. You don't actually have to physically touch. The last one on my list, which I think is almost the most fun, is gifts. Now, this is something I really want to tap into. right now, because we're missing people. We're missing grandma and grandpa. We're missing our friends. And gifts is something that, like, if you got kids, let's pull out the crafting table. Let's pull out all the ideas on Pinterest that we haven't been doing. And let's start making stuff for people and sending it in the mail. I got a card the other day from my niece in the mail for my birthday, and she made it. She hand drew it. It is so good and so cute. I appreciated it so much. And it was that feeling of like, oh, someone thought of me and they sent this to me. With Amazon, you could like order gifts and send them to people too. You don't have to buy gifts, whatever. You can home make them. Oh, my nose is itchy. I'm sorry. Anyway, but yeah, gift giving is love language. If you're feeling like, oh, I miss this person, I'm so far away, I can't see them, how do I show them love? Gift giving might be the right option. And gift giving does not mean that you have to go send them a $50 gift card. In fact, I pretty much guarantee that if someone's love language is gifts, gift cards aren't really the way to go with them. But you could get something different, or you could make them something from home. Bookmarks, you guys, bookmarks you can mail. You can mail with like a stamp that costs less than $1. So bookmarks is a really fun thing that we could send in the mail to people that we love, even friends, even someone local. Like, we could be making stuff to send in the mail to someone who lives across town that we're not seeing. We just miss them. So there are things that we can do that are still doable. I mean, I'm sure that some people, as far as gifts go, it could be baking, depending on how everybody's comfortable with the whole germ thing and touching and whatever. They can throw it in their freezer, for a few days if they want, but bake someone a batch of cookies or something like that. Gift giving is still a love language that we can use. So my whole point with bringing up love languages is that right now in COVID, without physical touch, and without being around people a whole lot and staying home, we are feeling unloved and unloving. And so love languages, when we look at them like this in a list and say, well, what can I not do? What can I do? We can find ways to fuel the love in the relationships of people outside of our home. And I think that we need to. We can't just be like, oh, we're just going to bear with it and not have as much love until this whole COVID thing is over. No, let's find a way to spread the love, and let's show our kids how they can spread the love. Let's get them to help us creatively think of things that we could do to show love to people, and to make sure that we're pointing out when we're receiving love, so that the kids in our homes can feel loved. Our kids need that. Our kids need that so much. Even if we feel like we're fine, we have to realize our kids are completely different people than us. And we need to make sure that they see the love that's being shown to them in the little things that are going on around us, even during this whole crazy time. So I am going to start to wrap this up here. One thing, as far as kids dealing with social distancing, there's an element of fear, and I have to bring it up because there is an element of fear with this pandemic, and like why, Mom? I don't understand. Why can't I see someone? Well, there's a virus. Well, why is that different than a common cold? Well, it's killing people, however you're approaching that end of it, parenting, I'm not going to tell you how to parent and explain COVID to your kids. That is totally going to vary and be up to you. But I think one thing that we have to press into our kids right now is there's going to be confusion/fear for them. We really need to press in and teach them to trust in God. Now, I know that there's different ways to teach trusting in God. You can be like, well, trust in God and just do whatever. He'll keep us safe. You can do, well, trust in God and He's going to give us the strength to get through this time of isolation. Whatever you do there, press into the fact of teaching your kids to trust in God. Bring God into it. I think so many times when we as parents don't have the answers, we don't teach our kids. We say, well, we don't know what to tell them, so let's just avoid that subject. Don't do that. Tell your kids, I don't even know. When you tell your kids, well, trust in God, and they say, well, why is God doing this? You can tell your kids, I don't know why. You don't have to have all of the answers. Just because we don't understand doesn't mean we don't teach it. Tell your kids when you don't know. And you know what? They're going to grow up and be kids that aren't know-it-alls, and they will understand that they don't have to know everything to have something to say and encourage someone. It's really important. You know, I had a conversation with my kids just the other day. We were reading the story of Solomon and how God asked him, what do you want? Anything. You pick it and I'll give it to you. And Solomon said, well, I want wisdom. And God was so pleased with that he blessed Solomon with so many other things. But we got into this conversation where we talked about the difference between wisdom and knowledge and how much more valuable wisdom is. And trying to put that into children's language, I was talking to him, well, knowledge is knowing things. You can know, good, not good and bad. You can know facts and the things that kind of textbook sort of, I can't remember exactly how I worded it for him. Anyways, but I was explaining how knowledge is very much like just things that you have to learn. And wisdom, I think I said it comes from the heart. Knowledge is from the head. Wisdom is from the heart. Wisdom is where you know in your heart right from wrong about the situation, because sometimes right and wrong can be okay in one place and different in another place. Oh, it was really complicated. It was really hard to explain wisdom and knowledge to a 5 and 7-year-old at bedtime when mommy's tired. Anyways, and so I just think that is something really important that we have to teach our kids, is the difference between knowledge and wisdom. And if you can be a parent that when asked a question about God in the Bible, if you can be a parent that is willing to admit to your children when you don't know for sure what this passage is saying, how it applies to today, if you can tell them and humble yourself, I'm not sure actually, let's pray about it. You're being a wise parent. Now, if you know all the answers and everything in your Bible is black and white to you, you are probably a very knowledgeable person. And that's not a bad thing. But a wise person knows that there aren't always answers that are black and white. And so I really think that that's important to get across to our kids. And so when we're teaching kids to trust God in this uncertain time, when we are not certain and we don't have the answers, let's open up to our kids about that. Let them see that, because they're going to be those people when they grow up who are okay if they don't know everything. And they'll feel secure in that, and they'll keep their faith in that. They won't need a yes or no black and white in order to have faith in God. They're going to know faith can come even in uncertainty. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up, you guys. Whew, that was so fun. I hope this was really applicable to you. I think that it's really important. This is in my brain. This is what I'm thinking of. I think we're going to go now. We're going to go today. We're going to make some bookmarks for people. We'll make a list of people that we get to mail them to. And Grandma, if you're watching, Nanny, if you're watching, you're probably going to get a bookmark in the mail. So get ready for that. Anyway, love you guys. And I hope you guys have a great homeschool week. And I hope that you can really show love and view and see the love that's being shown to you after thinking about these things, and share it with your kids too. So we'll talk to you later.